What is up, everybody? All right. Welcome to the After Chat. I don't know what's going on again with the filters here. Aha. There we go. Better. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for following along to the After Chat. We're going to hop into the Discord and say hi to all of our friends over there, but this is a Q&A. That's what we're doing here. Questions and answers. Okay. People are DMing me like while I'm trying to get the live stream going. Sorry. Let's save it for the After Chat. Save it for the Discord. Here we go. Hop into the Discord. Guys, if you'd like to join us on the Discord, there is a link in the description. Go ahead and click it. Takes about 5 minutes to get all set up and the timing and all that, and we should be good to go. So, all right, let's go down. Join the After Chat.
Laptops or anything. That's we're not on and stuff.
Yeah, we're not either.
Have you been to
Howdy.
SwitchNap?
Howdy.
Hey there.
Hi,
I'm
Josh.
jumping in there. Sorry about that. Let's kick off the show.
Please do.
We're
All
derailing
right.
it with data center talk.
Oh, yeah. That's not what we're... Well, not here for right now. Maybe later in the show. But anyway. So we're all clicked into the Discord. So everybody you're hearing talking is in our Discord voice chat, live-stream after chat room. So if you join us over on the Discord, that's how you get it on the voice chat. So what we like to do is just answer all your questions, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, Discord ideally, so we can hear your voice and ask you any follow-on questions, because a lot of ham radio questions are questions that require a bit of back and forth. Important things like, what's your budget? What do you want to do with ham radio? That kind of stuff. Really important stuff. So what we like to do right in the beginning here is kick it off by saying hello to everybody who is here for the first time. So if you're here for the first time and like to say hi, go ahead and come now.
Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Michael. KK7NZF. Just got my license the other day, and I've been following your channel for years. This is my first time.
Oh, congratulations on getting your channel. That's the first thing. So thanks for joining us. Do you have any questions, kind of starting things off, breaking the ice here on the After Chat?
Well, I know you get this question a lot, but I'm looking at getting into 10 meter as a technician. So would like the Anytone 222 or maybe a G90 be a good place to start?
So the Anytone, what is it? The AT6666 is a 10 meter only radio that I can recommend, and then the G90 as well. The G90 is pretty good.
All right. So I kind of like the idea of the G90 because it can be a whole lot more, and it's also really expandable. So I can, add on more wattage, all sort of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm thinking.
So the G90 is always a really good option for people that are starting out. But if you were asking 10 meter only, there are other options that are good too. But yeah, G90
Gotcha.
is
I'm
great.
actually working on my general license now, so I'm hoping to get a lot more soon.
Excellent. Then that's perfect. Excellent. Very good. Very good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. There's also some shout outs saying, hey, go check out the FT891 from Yaesu. That's also a good portable radio. I assume you mean portable, because if you just mean base station, the answer's maybe a little bit different, right? You might want something that's a little bit more expensive. 100 watts, sits on a table, sits on a desk, good to go that way kind of thing.
Hermes.
Right. Yeah, I've got a pretty low floor on the budget, so I'm looking at something that I can start mobile and maybe eventually move on.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. Somebody, Brickerhoss asks, "How are you gonna spend my money this week, Josh?" I don't know. I did get a couple of things. I don't know that. It's going to be next week, Huntsville Hamfest. We're going to be doing live streams there and having fun. So that's where we're going to be blowing some money. Don't worry. There's still plenty of time. All right. Anybody else on the Discord? Don't worry, I'll get to the YouTube side and answer your questions there as well, or we will all answer them collectively. Anybody on the Discord side that is new to Discord, this is their first time on a live stream, and what if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. I see a Wasabi Linux, but no voice. He's keying up, but no voice. Anybody else here for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question on the Discord voice? Go ahead.
Sorry, Mike was muted on my end.
All right, so we got Wasabi. Go for it, and then we'll come back to the other station.
Yeah, it's first time being on the after chat. I've only recently gotten into HF in the past year, but really enjoying the channel. I do have one question though.
Right on.
I'm looking at getting one of the Hustler verticals and trying to pick between either the 6BTV or the 5BTV. Is there really any big difference between the one that's got like capacitance hats on it and doesn't?
Don't know. I don't know.
I can answer.
Oh, somebody can answer. Josh, the other Josh, go for it.
Hey, yeah, this is WX7J. I'm here, Josh. I own the 6BTV. The capacitor heads, there's not much of a difference there. It's just there to just, frequency and check. But other than that, I own the 6BTV. I think it's a lot better to own the 6BTV because it's a lot more, it's not going to be, it's a lot less wind load on it. And you can also put the add-ons if you want onto it too. It's very easy to tune, and I highly recommend it. I own one. I've owned one now for the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been great. Hasn't fallen over, and I have it roof mounted right now, about 12 feet off the ground on the roof, and with a bunch of radios on it. So I highly recommend it. But if you want to go for the cheaper option, it's fine. You're not going to have much difference there if you go for the 5BTV. But I recommend both, whatever is in your budget, of course.
I would second the 6BTV as well.
I'm a DX Commander fan here.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. The lack of traps really does make a difference.
Yeah, getting around traps can be a good thing. Interesting comment or question. This is from Kayak Kid. I'm 13 and trying to study for technician exam. I've tried ham study, but I still can't figure it out. Any pointers? Yeah, you might want to get like a Gordon West book to offset that. Gordon West books are inexpensive. They're available on Amazon. That will give you some of the background. The thing with hamstudy.org is it's not really an explanatory type system. It is purely for like getting through the testing, right? There is some helpful tips and hints and all that, but if you want to kind of crack the nut in the learning of it, you're going to need something like the Gordon West book that gives you a little bit more context, and you may have to go so far as to even getting an ARRL handbook and then using that as a reference tome that you refer to and answer. Now, I did make a series on technician license, so if you go watch those videos, I do add context, but a lot of it isn't from the point of trying to like educate you from zero to really high level understanding. It's really just to give context. So I don't know. You tell me if it's helpful or not, but you can go watch my videos too. Okay. There was somebody else in there. I think possibly we got another first timer that would like to say hi and or ask a question. So come now. Any newcomers? Thought I saw somebody. Well, no problem. We can come back. All right. So how's everybody been doing? Good?
Hey, Josh, got a point for you on that with Kayak Kid.
Go ahead.
Get either the ARRL book or the Gordon West book. When you go through the test, just highlight the questions that are answers are correct, and just study to those answers. Also, both books actually give you great context with it. I've been teaching for a couple 3 years. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to do a class with our local Civil Air Patrol, so that's going to be interesting because they're like right in this age group, 13 to 18.
Yeah, one other thing I would say too is if you can do it, come into this Discord. There's several other Discords. and ask the questions, and let us sit down and explain it to you in person, because sometimes people don't learn things by necessarily reading, and there are plenty of people around here that can just sit and talk to you and try to help you to understand a concept.
I also suggest the Gordon West books for sure are a great help. I used those when I was first studying years and years ago. But my biggest thing that I would suggest doing is use a black Sharpie and black out all of the wrong answers, and then go through each question, and you'll only have the right answer there, and you can study as to why it's the right answer a little better, and that will help not just with memorization, but it'll help you learn that particular question and the why of it and the principles behind it.
I got it. Okay, well, I got to interrupt here. So we got to take a moment. All right. Oh, that's so funny. That is crazy funny. Okay, so Josh N5FT Tuftalin Tuftold. I don't know how to pronounce it. But I got keyed up on this knee board from K4SWL, right? Thomas Witherspoon. All right, I just got back from backpacking with my son and Adam K6ARK, and I brought this, right? And the one thing I didn't do was I didn't bring my super lightweight packable chair, and I should have, because Adam's like, I was gonna sit down and do some CW. I had my KX2. I got that all hooked up. I broke out the knee board, and Adam's like, "Why don't you sit in my chair?" Because I was all hunched over. It was really awkward. And that little camp chair, super lightweight, probably less than like a pound, or maybe about a pound, less than 2 pounds. Anyway, it when you sit in it, it doesn't really encourage you to lean forward. In fact, it's not very comfortable if you do. So you lean back in it, and when you have the knee board on, it actually, I think somebody jerked around with my knee board. They tightened it. It's perfectly aligned with the KX2. So you put the KX2 right here. You got your little key and your tablet, your paper, whatever, and it's perfect alignment. You can just sit down, get to work. It was really, really comfortable. So I'm really glad I got this knee board, and that's the website. So tftufteln.us. I'm murdering it, absolutely murdering that name. But yeah, there you go. Highly recommended. Yeah, right on. Okay, cool. I'm glad I got to say that. Let's see. Who else? Anybody else in the chat that would like to say hi for their first time or ask a question?
Hey, Josh. First time here, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. I see you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Do you have a question for us, or you just wanted to say hi?
Both, really. I was listening to the live stream, and Tim mentioned getting a good quality HT as a first radio, as opposed to one of the cheaper ones because of frustrating programming, etc. Any idea what he was kind of referring to? What would be a sort of a baseline, as opposed to, I assume he means something besides like a Baofeng for $25 or something like that?
Well, that's kind of the difficulty, right? If you and I'm not trying to put words in Tim's mouth here at all, but Tim is the CEO of DX Engineering. DX Engineering sells many lines of amateur radio equipment. And it's kind of hard for him to come out and say, like, go buy this HT, because he also sells HTs from other companies that are also pretty good. So there are a number of HTs that are on the market that aren't Chinese, that are good to use. If you have I don't know what he would recommend specifically, but if you give me a budget, all of us in the chat can tell you exactly which HT we would recommend.
Yeah. How about $1.5 million? No.
No, well, we're all rocking Motorola's, right?
Yeah, right.
FT60.
So the latest and greatest.
Yeah, I guess I would say,
if you use like 500-ish as sort of a ballpark figure, right? I'm sort of presuming it's going to be something like an ICOM, maybe an ID52, or maybe one of the Yaesus or something similar. You know,
So 500.
it's sort of a buy it once sort of thing, right? So you spend a little bit more, maybe, and just do it one time.
So that's a really tough one, because actually as you get more expensive, you start getting a little bit more reined in what you want to do, oddly enough. If you want just a simple analog radio that does VHF, UHF, and gets on repeaters, there's a ton of options that are all sub $300. If you're going to talk $500, though, then you're generally looking at 2 and soon to be 3 options, right? The ICOM ID52, the Yaesu FT5DR, which recently was on sale for incredibly cheap. And then the new Kenwood D75, is it? Will it be, I guess? They're actually kind of different, right? And you actually do need to understand the differences between them, and you probably should have a pretty good understanding of what you value in amateur radio before you make a decision either way with any of those, right? So the ID52 is going to be a very good travel radio. It likely will have the best audio quality, transmit and receive on a handheld. The FT5DR is going to be more rugged. It's going to stand up to being outdoors better. It also has APRS. And then the Kenwood's going to be pretty good at everything. And time will tell on this one. I don't know the answer yet. But it's likely not going to have the best battery life. But it will do things that, frankly, no other radios, possibly even in the mobile space, will do. Like have an accessible TNC for doing packet radio, which is awesome. Yeah, Kenwood's going to be D-Star radio with real APRS. Love it. That's actually pretty cool. FT5DR is good too. It just has a very different place in my eyes. Yeah. Does that help?
ID50. It does. I'm sort of leaning towards something with APRS and maybe some sort of digital capability. I'm not sure what that is yet, but yeah, that helps.
You probably, if you're really, if you got $500 in your pocket, you might want to wait for the Kenwood, but I have a feeling the Kenwood's going to come in higher than $500. I'm pretty confident on that. Jose, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Lincoln Stern asked, do we have to go to Discord to ask a question? You don't, but I'm going to get to YouTube questions after Discord, so you'll have to just wait. Well, very good question.
I was gonna suggest too.
Yeah.
He might want to check with some of the other hams in the area, see what repeaters are available if he's looking at getting in digital.
Good question.
Because they might use fusion in that area very heavily, and D-Star might be light,
or they're
vice
all
versa,
DMR, or they're all DMR.
Oh God, well, let's hope not.
Yeah. So, yeah, find out from a local club like what the active repeaters are, or just get a radio out and start scanning. Right, use like an SDR, like an SDR dongle. You can find out pretty quick.
Yeah, if you're going to do DMR, just get a hotspot anyway. Because the repeaters, honestly, because they lock down the repeaters and the number of talk groups that are on it.
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, you might as well have a hotspot. Yeah. Ask Jason, because I can't explain that.
Well, yeah, because they own little fiefdoms, and if they don't want the HRCC talk group to be on the list, they can just block it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's just little fiefdoms of control. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just if you want to if you want to do what you want to do with your radio, you likely will need to do a hotspot. Yeah.
D-Star and Fusion are implemented in a way that they really can't do that. And I don't know. But anyway, that's a preference thing on my part. I think you can definitely do DMR with a hotspot and get the same performance.
Sure. Yeah.
Fun fact.
Go ahead.
Fun fact. No, I'm a Motorola XPR repeater owner. I have my own DMR machine. It's Frank KG6 Novella. No repeater has an option to exclude talk groups. The only thing a club or a repeater owner that does DMR repeaters can do is email you and be like, hey, please don't use that talk group on our repeater. It ties up a time slot. Otherwise, you can access any repeater, any talk group you want. And
that's more what I meant. I didn't mean specifically block it out, but yeah.
They can do that in Brandmeister a little bit. They can say, oh, HRCC can only be on time slot 2, so if you try to use it on time slot 1, you're not going to be hurt.
Yeah, Jason says on the C bridges he can not forward certain talk groups, and he doesn't. So our repeater here, which is tied to his repeater, doesn't get any of the other talk groups, period. It only gets the ones that they've agreed on.
Yeah.
Right. That's in the online. That's in like the
The C bridge
Brandmeister
software.
dashboard.
The C bridge.
Let's keep it at a high level. We'll nerd out and deep dive in a little bit. Let's answer the first comer questions first, and then we can go into the deep dive. Anybody else in there for a first time question or like to say hi? Come, go ahead for first timers. Want to make sure we get everybody that's here for the first time first, and then we can start deep diving stuff. I don't want to lose people right off the bat. All right. So, unfortunately, Tim's a busy guy, and he already was gracious enough to share his time with us on the live stream. So this is just going to be an open Q&A type thing. So if anybody has, I see a first time here from Darren. Darren, the chat, the live chat, the audio you're hearing is from our Discord. There's a link in the description to join the Discord if you're so inclined. And then if you go to hashtag live-stream/afterchat, that is our voice chat room, and you can ask your questions live there. We prefer that because there's usually some back and forth, like we just had with budgets on radios, how much you want to spend, that kind of thing. Otherwise, you can ask in YouTube, which is fine too. So that's another way we'll do it. So, all right. Let's go ahead and open it up, though. So not just first-timers, but pretty much anybody. Do we have any questions we want to try and hit before we go say hi to some YouTubers? If there's any, I don't see any in the house tonight. Maybe
hey, Josh.
Huntsville. Go ahead.
Hey, I want to know, anybody's had any problems with those Diamond 400 amp power supplies?
I don't know. Does anybody have one of those that they had problems with?
400 amp.
I'm sorry, 40 amp.
An analyzer.
Oh, okay.
My head is bigger than my mind.
I was saying 400 amps, pretty big there. But
that'd be pretty hefty, even for one of the.
So let me go back a step. Are you having trouble with that power supply?
Yeah, I am. I just bought a brand new one. My other one kind of died out on me, and and when I plugged it into my 7200, I was getting a bunch of the power supply was squealing every time I keyed it up. Well, I unplugged it and off the power supply and ran it on the mobile. Worked fine. Plugged the power supply, but the 7200 back in and got nothing. But when I put it on a battery, it decided to it was going to work. Rick works fine.
Who'd you buy it from?
HRO.
Call HRO.
Yeah. I already did. They've never heard of the problem either.
Doesn't matter. Where'd you buy it from them?
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Did you buy it in store or was it shipped to you?
No, I had it shipped to Milwaukee.
I would call them up and be like, look, this thing's broken. I need help here. Help replace it. You know, whatever. What do you want me to do? Arthur, you got a hot mic there. You know what I mean? Because it's so you just bought it, right? So it's like kind of ridiculous that you'd have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like your radio is overdriving or overpulling from the amp, and the amp is dropping. Or sorry, not the amp, but the power supply. The power supply is dropping, down to say 11 volts or something, which will cause the radio to have all kinds of weird things.
Is it squealing when it's just on and receive, or is it only when you're transmitting?
Only when I'm transmitting.
Oh. And you said it's a 40 amp power supply?
Yeah, it shouldn't have any problems because
You should not.
I checked this. Yeah, I checked the specs. It's only 22 amp on transmit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
James
What's
Hannibal's
the
got the right
SWR?
action. SWR is a question. But he said it was for his 60. It's for a VHF UHF. What antenna are you running into that?
I went in a Wyndham.
But VHF, UHF, but you said 7200?
Yeah, I've got a VHF UHF that I ran. It ran fine with VHU.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
a
that's
10.
less.
Yeah, that's a 10 amp. That's only going to pull about 10 amps. The HF radio will pull close to 11 to 12. Well, no, it's more than that. It's almost 20 amps.
23.
Yeah.
According to ICOM on transmit, it pulls 22 amps.
Right, and so the power supply, it sounds like, is not delivering that, which means there's a problem with it.
Wait.
And go ahead.
Do we know that it's not? So, do you have an exterior power meter on the outbound of the radio?
No, I don't. I was just reading that off there.
So, if you put a power meter outbound of your radio to test the power that you're actually feeding on the coax, that might be the next step, because just because the power supply is loud, it doesn't mean it's completely failed out. It shouldn't be loud though, right? It shouldn't be loud. So one, it sounds like you could get it replaced just for the noise that it's making. Also, is there some kind of adjustment that you could do for the amperage that you might not have done?
Yeah, well, I made sure everything was adjusted right, so it's just kind of running kind of weird. One of the local club members said it might be a power input issue too, so it might not getting the 110.
We like absolutes. What does running kind of weird mean?
What was that?
Well, you said it's running kind of weird. What does that mean?
It was just when transmit, I get it'll just start like it's got a warning squeal on it, so it's like maybe an undervolt, but I don't know.
Have you tried cutting the power, say, down to 50% on the radio?
That's a curiosity.
HF rig.
Yeah.
Try it there.
No, I haven't dropped that power down yet.
I would try doing that. Cut your power like at least in half. You could even go down to 10 watts and then slowly increment it up. But and then see.
I'd still wonder what the
see at what point does it start doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and someone posted asked, and yes, it is the 4000 with the picture that's in the Discord. Thanks, Jody.
So that has meters on the front of it. You should be able to read the meters on the front.
Yeah, what does it say on the front when you're transmitting?
Yeah, when it transmits it, I've got it set to the amp, and it's going up to 22 amps like it's supposed to. And when I checked the volt, I got the volt set for 12 volts. So that's not been an issue as far as I know.
Are you sure that your antenna's good?
I just bought it at Collinsville this
No,
last.
that's not what I mean. Did you check the SWR that it's tuned correctly?
Yeah, I checked the SWR. It's the SWR. The highest is I think 1.3.
Oh, well, okay.
Power feedback back into the power supply. How about chokes?
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I don't have any chokes. That's the first thing I want to do is put some chokes on it.
And you sure you've got the little knob there cranked up to the 14.8 or whatever it should be at for voltage?
Yeah, I've got to put it up to at least 12.
Try a little higher than 12.
Not at least 12.
Yeah.
You should have it at 14.8.
Yep.
13.8.
Oh, sorry, 13.8. Thank you.
You gonna try to blow up my rig?
No.
No. They're designed for 13.8. That's what your car usually has.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will take 15.
I was gonna say, yeah, my truck, it'll sometimes when it'll be 14.
It could be getting starved if you're only giving it 12 volts. Bump that thing up to 13.8.
Yeah.
A lot of them actually, the power meters will have it may not be posted, but when you get right to 13.8, it's actually like a little detent that'll kind of click into and drop, and that's exactly where you want it to be.
All right. Well, I got stuff to do in my rig tonight.
Yeah, we'll do it live, and then you can give us an update if it's if you got it working. We love that.
Well, unfortunately, my shack's on the other side of the house, so
take us on the go. Get your phone logged in, and you can just walk with us.
But by the way, you're not using that. Which connector are you using? Because you should probably not be using the cigarette lighter type.
Oh, that's a good point too.
No, I'm not that crazy.
Well, I mean, your mobile would run off of that probably.
We never like to assume how crazy anyone is.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Well, Josh, you've met me. You know how crazy I am.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We never like to assume. We always like to give benefit of crazy. Benefit of the doubt, benefit of crazy. All right. Well, good. I think we got that one. Well, we at least gave you something to go try. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Anybody else? Okay,
I have a
good
question.
luck. Oh, I got my dog, and my dog's at my foot. Hello, Chloe. Hey, babies.
Hey, Josh, I have a question.
Go ahead, question.
Can somebody just kind of give me a rundown of the difference between tuned radios versus just normal radios that you will just put on a ground plane? Because I know DX Engineering sells tuned radios, but I see also a lot of people just put like a bunch of radios all equal distance around.
I'll go first, and then I'll let someone else go. Mm-hmm. I got a hot take on radials. I don't tune them. I take as much damn wire that I could put on the ground, and I'll bundle them up in like 4 or 5 foot, 4 or 5 bundles, clamp them all together, and I just connect it to the antenna. I don't particularly if the radial's on the ground, if it's just on the ground, then my rule of thumb is the more radials you can put down, the better. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you're doing an elevated radial like a Buddy Stick Pro, that's different. That I will adjust for the appropriate tuning or whatever.
Right. That would be a ground plane at that point.
No. That's a rate.
No?
Both of them are ground planes, actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically.
So if you think about the joke, I don't know if it totally works, but the joke I always use is the radial system under your antenna, the more you have is better, and it's something that the RF is using to push off of. Somebody gave me that line, and it's probably not accurate, but it makes sense. So the more stuff you got underneath the antenna, the other side of the antenna, it's giving the RF something to push off of. At least that's the joke.
Oh.
I would say put more radials down, but and up to a point. I mean, I think once you get to beyond 32, you're only getting fractional improvement.
Well, he's asking about radials.
Callum / Commander has a really good video on this.
Yep, and he explains it.
They've gone through this. There's been papers written about this, but if it's on the ground, I'm running like 9 or 10 foot radios. I got like 30 something of them just laying there in the dirt.
Yeah. But tune doesn't matter if it's just chilling on the ground.
No, but what can matter, and again, Callum has talked about this. When I ran 80 meters, I needed more radials because you need at least 1.5 wavelengths of that much wire on the ground. So if you need to do more than 32 radials to get to more than 80 meters of wire on the ground, then do it.
Sure.
If you're doing 40 meters, you don't need as many, maybe, and 40 meters of 10. And again, it's random. What does matter, and when it counts, and when you use tuned radials, is when the radials are elevated. Elevated radials always have to be tuned to the band that they're being used on.
Because it's kind of like a vertical dipole at that point with a horizontal leg that's sticking out.
Yeah, that's like that guy that was asking earlier about putting an antenna on the roof. If you put it on the roof, you're going to have to tune them.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That's what I have right now. I have an elevated Hustler 6BTV with tuned radials because that's engineering, and a couple of people that the Elmers that I have told me to do, and I got about 28 radials on the roof right now. I got two for 80.
Let's modify my my little analogy of the RF needs something to push off of. Let's modify it to say some RF is taller than other RF. So if you had a giant in RF in RF sense, like 80 meters, right? Big wavelength. You need a lot of ground underneath that tall giant wavelength for it to push off of. So your radials need to be commensurate to 1.5 or whatever wavelengths, space, right? Physical characteristics of wire for it to push off of, right? So if it was 10 meters, you need less wire. At least, right? We're saying at least. Once you hit that point, if you go over it, it's fine. It's not a big deal, but you do need to get close to that. Yeah, that makes sense in my head. Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, Josh.
And a wild Molson has joined the chat.
Oh my goodness.
He's at least on YouTube.
Well, so have him join the Discord, because I think we don't have any other YouTubers. We're going to have to swing by here, but I think we've got no YouTubers.
I don't think Don and I count.
You got me.
Oh, we got Frank. That's true. We've got Don does count if he wants to take a minute. I mean, of course, he's got a new video. Yeah.
No, I don't. I haven't. Maybe after Huntsville, I'll film a little bit of stuff that goes on there, but just from my perspective, I mean.
Yeah, I'm planning on filming a whole bunch of stuff, putting it up on my YouTube channel.
I'm gonna be going crazy filming stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing my live stream thing just like I did at Hamvention. I was really happy with how that turned out. I'm going to try to score some sweet high-speed Wi-Fi, but if I can't, I'll still make it work.
And we're looking forward, Josh, to the things that you film that you later have to delete. Those are the best.
Yeah, so between two hams, I actually have a cut of that never got posted.
Yeah. I've heard stories.
That did get posted to the Patreon, I believe. There was one part that I did cut out. That is cut. I have the original.
Mm-hmm.
That could not. If you were not there, you would not have seen. That question was too hot for anything. That wasn't even no. Let's see. Question in the chat on the YouTube side. Oh no, it was on Discord. It's Lee Harrell. Hey Lee, have you gotten your hands on the FX4CR yet? Do you plan to review it? So no, I don't have one. I'm not really interested in buying one either because I have the FX4, and to be honest, I didn't really use the FX4 either. I think it's a cool radio, but when you've got a KX2 and a ICOM 705, there's not a whole lot of reason that you drag out the FX4CR, personally, from my point of view. I think it's cool, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys tell me what's the
thing? Walt has one, K4OGO, and he's done a number of videos on it. And he likes it. And for somebody that doesn't have already a KX3 or a KX2 or some other radio, then I would think it would be a great, even if you don't yet have a G90. It's not a bad radio, or it doesn't look like a bad radio to get. But for those of us that do, I'm like Josh. It looks like a fun radio, but I don't need any more.
Yeah, you nailed it. And that was exactly what Paul said. So Paul, who was with me on Angel Island for the POTA activation, he said the same thing. He's like, if you got the budget for the KX2 and the 705, or you have one of those, then you really don't need the 4CX or 4CR or whatever it is. But for those of you that are looking for a budget option of a radio, that might be a really good one for you because it is actually pretty competitively priced. So I think anyway. Let's see. Well, yeah, and oh boy, Mongo, you asked the it depends question, right? So he's looking for a budget friendly. Everybody's budget's different, so you got to tell us what your budget is, right? So Mongo, whenever someone says budget friendly, that's a big red flag on the channel here. You got to be very clear with how much you want to spend. That's what we look for.
And if you're
$200, there you go, $200.
Okay. And are you looking for any specific features, or just any mobile will do?
Is that $200 all in with an antenna and coax and all that stuff, or is it just the radio? See, so many questions. Let's see, 200. Waiting for the update. All in.
Can I ask a question?
Wait, all in meaning just the radio, right? If you mean coax and antenna then you're looking at one of those 20-watt Chinese jobbers, because you're going to spend $50-$60 on an antenna, and then you're going to throw another $50-$60 into coax, and then you're going to have whatever's left over go into the radio, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you could probably get an FJ mag mount or something like that. That's a dual bander for.
Mongo says he's
what,
got all the other
Well,
stuff, so
less
just the
than 50.
radio. $200.
Did he say?
If you could bump that up to 300, that'll get you to the 2730, the ICOM 2730, which is it's the radio that's right in front of me. It's my VHF UHF standard, just repeater simplex radio. Does anybody have a good $200 mobile radio?
Did he specifically say dual band, or did he just say mobile radio?
Mobile, I think he implied. I would take it as implied.
I don't, because there are some good ones that TYT makes some really good single band radios that are like the one I've got here for 220, and they make a 440 and a 2-meter version of it is $140.
Comment.
The TYT 9000D. Yep.
Yaesu makes 3 radios under $200, don't they?
Mobile?
Not mobile.
3100 and the IC 2980 are right in the $200 range, aren't they?
I don't know, because
IC 2980?
FT.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
That's a 2-meter only.
Yeah, 2-meter only.
Yeah, again, yeah. He didn't say it had to be dual band, but it's a fair assumption to make. I'm not saying that.
I think
but,
so, yeah.
Yeah. Although I don't get on 440 very much, but.
Well, I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't need to get on 70 centimeters," and it's like, well, you don't until you do.
You don't until you
do.
That's,
absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, like one of the clubs that I do the website for, their repeater is a 440 machine. There is no 2-meter machine for that club because all the 2-meter pairs are taken.
What was the comment?
Comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm general class and all that, but first radio was a T2980R Yaesu. Doesn't have a fan. It'll crank 100 watts. You'd be hard pressed to blow it up with a 5-to-1 SWR. And the TYTs are famous for looking at them sideways, give them wrong power, run an SWR, and they just smoke it. YouTube's full of videos of the 4-channel one, the dual band one. They're just junk. Buy once, cry once. Get a $180 Yaesu, and if you want to run 440, add another one.
Well, if I could get a 220 radio mobile at 65 watts somewhere else, I would.
I would love to get a 220 rig. That's one of the next things I want. I'll actually be hunting for that in Huntsville.
Well,
220 is really a Texas thing. Nobody runs 220 up here in the Midwest.
So speaking of buying a bunch of radios, right? Whatever we're talking about today, make sure you hold off until next week, because there's going to be sales, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be sales for the Hamfest. Huntsville Hamfest is going to be next week. By the way, if you don't have anything to do on Saturday next weekend and you're in the Huntsville area, please drive out to the Von Braun Center in Huntsville and come see me and all the other YouTubers. And just check out the Ham Radio Show. It's going to be great. I think it was like $15 at the door if you didn't buy early. That's still really cheap. So come on out.
I think you might still be able to buy it online for like $12.
You might be able to. Yeah, so check that out. And please come out. I would love to see you. Come say hi. How many?
You think anybody will have a FT5 rock bottom price this Hamfest?
Dude, that price at Huntsville was insane. At Hamvention was insane. What was it, like $350?
Mm-hmm.
That's
something like $350.
$300.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was $300.
I thought they were announcing they were discontinuing it or something. I thought those were like sell all the stock of this radio kind of things. That was wild.
That's enough to actually almost convince me to buy one.
I almost bought one to take home just to have and give it away maybe or something.
Well, and I'm a mobile guy, I'd rather have a mobile radio.
Yeah. Well, that's a thumb in the nose of Icon. That's why they did it.
I mean, maybe.
What was there a coupon? Was it like a $50 or $100 off coupon or something
Nope.
they were running?
No.
Usually, well, that's usually what they call it. They just discount it by 50 or $100.
Oh yeah, I mean it was facilitated through the manufacturer. That was a manufacturer.
Yeah, it was
coupon.
just a $2.99 show special.
What's the normal? What's the normal?
$500.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a
$460.
huge. Yeah, that's $150 off.
Yeah, it's
160.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I doubt we'll see that for Huntsville. Expect $50, maybe $100, depending on what.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, I
But
was.
then again, they did it in Dayton, so.
I mean, but Dayton, usually the others follow Dayton, right, when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I don't think Kenwood's going to be there though. You know, that's kind of.
Yeah, I'm a wait and see right now on the Kenwood. I think it's cool. I'm glad they're back. I never wanted them to leave, but I'm a wait and see. I want to see what that price tag is. That I really want to see it.
Yeah, but at least Kenwood implements real APRS.
Oh yeah, no,
That
nothing
is
but
good.
respect for that.
And everybody should go by that's out at Huntsville should go by the Icon booth and say, "Where's the real APRS?" And let those guys know that we're tired of that DPRS stuff they keep pushing. It makes no sense.
I'm not an Icon guy, so.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well,
I'm not either, but that's one of the big reasons I'm not.
I just don't think that's going to change. I don't think that's going to. We're not going to see.
Now,
Yeah.
what I wish we could do is convince John to tell Yezu, hey, make some 220 gear again. They used to make it. I used to sell it back in the 90s.
Well, I mean, Rockstar just dropped that Alinco. At least Alinco's doing it. And by the way, I think there are 4 big manufacturers, and Alinco is number 4.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Alinco tends to be one of those that they come into the market and then they kind of fade out. And then they come back into the market and then they fade out. And then they come back and now they're back in the market.
But I'll tell you that back in my day, when I got my first dual band radio, Alinco at that time was the Baofeng, the inexpensive option.
Right.
But they were rock solid. I still have that Alinco today, and it still works. And
they were weird.
Yeah,
Alinco was great
but
because they
you're
were
right.
weird as hell. Like they had the weirdest radios, which was why I love them. I love Alinco.
Mm-hmm.
Make the weirdest radios. They should go back to doing that.
I love my DR610. I loved that thing to death. With the remote kit, remote head, and all that stuff. That was awesome.
We're getting in the nerdy weeds again, so we got to come back.
Yeah, sorry.
But then we can get nerdy.
But the nerdy weeds are about amateur radio.
I know, but save that for the end. We can wax poetically over our favorite weird ass Alinco radio.
But they also came out with after ICOM came out with Kenwood came out with the TS50. They did come out with a DX70. Which was about the comparable to that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
wait, you guys aren't listening to me. We're moving on.
Sorry.
We'll come back to Alinco later. All right. Do we have any other ham radio Q&A questions for people that are trying to get started? That's what we're trying to help out tonight. So, anybody else in the Discord or on the YouTube side, we want to make sure we answer questions.
I've got kind of a new user question.
All right.
Let's say you're poor and you only have money to go to one sort of ham convention or whatever. What's the one to go to?
What's the closest one to you?
Well, I'm in Texas, so
Huntsville.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
or one of the regional ones that's in Texas. If you can't make it to Huntsville, that's too far.
Yeah, I live in Texas and I go to those, and most of them are flea markets. So there's tons and tons of flea markets, and going to one like we used to have.
No, none of the big.
Not really. None of the big ones, and no forums, which I love. Like we had Hamcom, and it was great. So
let's
probably then Huntsville.
Let's ask the question of like, what's most interesting to the person asking the question. So you've probably seen a lot of our videos on the live streams and whatnot. Like, is there anything that you gravitate towards? Are you interested in doing Contest University or 4 days in May? Are you interested in the Mont Sano experience at Huntsville? Orlando has its own kind of kitschy kind of feel to it, but they all have unique kind of feel to them. So what are you all about?
I don't know enough to answer that question.
Then probably Hamvention.
Mhm.
So if you
And
don't know enough about what you want to do and you kind of just want to drink from the fire hose, Hamvention.
Well,
yeah,
Orlando would be a good alternative to Hamvention too. I
But
mean, they're comparable. It's almost the same size.
yeah. Where
it's
where
not
are
the
you in
same.
Texas?
Northeast Texas.
Oh, okay, so near DFW.
Yeah.
So twice a year there is one called Belton Ham Fest that is just south of us. It's about an hour's drive, and you could go down there. It's going to be a flea market type, and there's a lot of you'll meet a lot of people. There's a lot of people there. Jason goes nearly every year. Ham Radio 2 goes down there, but there's tons of hams there, and you could go and spend a couple hours there and just get a feel for one. But it's going to be more type flea market, both inside and outside.
So part of the reason why I mentioned Hamvention is everything's there. If you want to
Mhm.
attend a lot of talks, you can go to Hamvention. If you want the largest manufacturer booth space, Hamvention. If you want the largest swap meet, it's Hamvention. All of the largest things is Hamvention. If you want something that's catering toward more of a specific type of feel, then Orlando might be better. Like in from my point of view, I think you get some quirkier pickups at the flea market in Orlando than you do at Huntsville from Hamvention from my point of view. And Huntsville is just, I think, the coolest, like, laid back, chill Hamfest, but it doesn't have a very large manufacturer booth space, right? In comparison, it's only 2 days as well, and that can be different for all kinds of folks. Let's just say Hamvention. Go to Hamvention. That'd be my recommendation.
Fair enough. And the local stuff looks like something that would be easy and inexpensive to try. So yeah, that Belton Ham Fest also seems like it might be kind of interesting just to see and meet people.
You
It is.
should definitely be capitalizing on your local Hamfest if you have them. Please be doing that.
I would always suggest go to a local ham fest before you go to one of the big three, because
Yeah.
I took my wife's first ham fest was Orlando, and then I took her to one in like the Panhandle of Florida with 7 tables, and she laughed at me.
Yeah, and in Texas we used to have one called Hamcom that was literally right here in DFW, and it was a great ham fest, and it was just like what you would have at or Orlando or any of the other big ones. It wasn't as big, but it was big enough, and it had the feel of these other ham fests, and that's what I miss. I miss the forums and the vendor tables and all of that stuff, and seeing new things. And so we did have it, but it went away right at COVID when it hit.
It's all really good at Hamvention too. We should mention that the talks are really good. The manufacturer space is really good. A lot of the big drops are going to come out of Hamvention, like the Kenwood that we just saw.
There's fun after hours things.
The after hours isn't as painful. Well, the Orlando after hours sucks the most. That's the hardest to get everybody together to hang out. That's always a difficult one. Huntsville's the easiest, but it's also like the weirdest drive. But I think it's the best time. Montsano is still like the best after hours thing, period, from my point of view. And then Hamvention is somewhere in the middle because we'll do Troll Pub, right? Troll Pub is our event that we do after hours on Saturday. Yeah.
I had a comment, Josh, before all the new guys drift off into our weeds.
What?
All right. I know that you run an SDR play duo in your shack.
Yes.
And at least 2 years before I even thought about getting the license, I bought RSPDX when it came out. Wish I'd gotten the Duo because I didn't know you could do a diversity receive with that. But I had 2 years of trolling around, listening, and with the new SDR Uno, which is their software that's due to release like now, all the plugins are in there. For these guys that haven't gotten a license yet, don't wait until you have a license to get into ham radio. You're going to have all the time in the world to play with your antennas, all those digital codes, everything.
Yeah, Josh, have you seen that new software?
Sorry about that. My dog was barking. I had to get her out of there.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah,
Ha-
I don't
have
know. I got told 15 meters is popping, but 15 meters seems like it kind of sucks right now. So I'm getting
Oh.
off 15 meters.
Have you seen the new SDR Play software?
The Uno? SDR Uno?
Yeah, they've started. The SDR Play has started releasing videos on the new software coming out. It's supposed to be out any day. Oh, is it out?
Yeah, it's called SDR Connect.
Yeah.
I have not. Should we go in blind and make speculations immediately?
Why don't you download it and do a video on it?
We'll do it live.
It's a big release. Big release.
Right.
I'll download it. We'll do it live.
Yeah, the big thing is now it's available on all platforms. So Windows, Linux, Raspberry Pi, all of them.
Mac, maybe.
Yep, Mac too. Please.
All plugins, every mode, anything you want to do.
Maybe we can convince Kay at MRD to get one.
Okay, all right.
Wait, you tell me they're bringing radio to Mac? What?
We already have.
Yeah,
that.
the SDR Uno software is coming to Mac. Well, it's out for all the platforms now.
Software downloads.
And we know of all the platforms, Linux is the best, but
look at
even better. It'll do the old Mac and new Mac, the ARM and x64.
Mike, you got a weird mic, man. I don't know. You got all kinds of interference in the background. Michael. All right.
Is
SDR Connect.
Is the RSP1A good enough to start with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, by the way, this software will not work with the RSP, which I don't. The RSP1. It will work with the 1A, but not the 1. That was something they mentioned in the video.
Yeah, it's fine.
You can get the RSP DX that I have for less than $200. Metal case, multiple inputs. It's worth the extra $50 over the 1A.
Yeah, the one I would get is the Duo because nothing beats diversity, man.
But you need 2 antennas.
That's a fact.
Yeah, no, there are challenges. I didn't say that, but it certainly does work well.
I do like the Duo. I have to use the Duo for my my antenna videos.
I don't think most guys even have a clue what you're saying when we talk about diversity tuning. They hear a ham term and they glaze over, but it literally means catching both phases of the signal and canceling out all the noise that's not in phase.
Right.
Vertical and horizontal.
That's
That's not diversity receive.
That's different. That prevents fading, so having horizontal and vertical. But when you take the 2 antenna signal and phase one out from the other, it will actually drop the noise floor. And horizontal vertical does not do that.
You need a sensing antenna to do that. You have to have dual. You have to have dual channel or dual receive, and you have to phase out between the two. So if one antenna hears all the noise and the other antenna also hears all the noise, you use that to kind of overlap and null each other out, like 180 degrees and cross them out kind of thing. And then only the audio signals picked up. So the single sideband voice, for instance. Diversity receive is where you've got like 2 cans. Your vertical antennas on the left side and your horizontal antennas on the right side. That's diversity receive. Make sense?
I've heard both. So because the phasing is called diversity also.
Well, when you're phasing it, that you're throwing everything but the audio into basically 180 degrees out of phase to null it out.
Yeah, it depends. And that honestly, one of the best implementations, and forgive me, but one of the best implementations
Here
of
we
it
go.
is in the on-and radio, and you literally have a little like circle, and you move the phasing around the circle, and it does make a difference where that thing lands in the circle. So it's not always 180 degrees,
But
which I thought it needed to be always 180 degrees, but apparently not.
isn't that technically pink noise? Isn't that what pink noise is where it's taking it out of phase to cancel out audio? That's what they use in call centers and stuff like that to quiet the room.
We call that echo cancellation in telecom, but
well, because white
Hey,
noise
Josh.
is just static, and then pink noise is actually they have mics that pick up the audio and speakers that play it out of phase.
Pink noise is white noise adjusted for human ear sensitivity.
Okay. Let's keep going with questions. Sorry.
Hey, Josh. I see David got his power supply going. Why don't we see what the solution was?
Sure, David, come back in. What's going on, man?
Okay, yeah, this was stupidity on my part. Of course, most hand mistakes are stupidity on somebody's part. I didn't have the power supply cranked up high enough.
Yeah.
I put it on my PowerWorks gauge, and it was only reading like 8.9 volts. It's like, okay, that probably was the problem.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Did you set it to 13.8?
Yeah, I got it cranked up to 13.8 now. It's working fine.
Great.
Good. Awesome.
All right, we helped the ham.
One down.
That's it.
One down, 500 million to go, right?
That's it. All right, let's take a breath here and say hi to the YouTubers we have. We do have Digital Rancher in the house, so I would like to take a minute to say hi to Digital Rancher. How you doing, buddy? Are you going to Huntsville? You gotta be, right? You gotta be.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, I'm heading out. I'll be there Thursday at about 12:30. I'll be on the mountain at 12:30.
Okay. I arrive Thursday as well, but I'll be in the afternoon on a flight, so when I get there is when I get there. I'm probably not coming to Mont Sano on the first night for me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a good crew that's going out. Sounds like a lot of folks are going to be there Wednesday. I think TO's going to be there tomorrow. So people start rolling in Monday.
Yeah, some folks are turning it into what was TO's 4 days in August or something is his thing.
5 days in August, isn't it?
5 days now?
Yeah.
4 days.
Well, he said he's gonna start doing K-Toads on Monday, so he can be the first to get that kilo.
Okay. I wish him luck. I'm glad he's having fun. That's super cool though. Yeah, Mont Sano is, I mean, it's kind of funny. There's a lot of folks who come out to Huntsville and they don't even really go to the show. They just hang out at Mont Sano and play radio and hang out with people like all day. I know N8YO did that one year. He was just there.
Where's Mike when we need him?
he was there all day at the campsite. He didn't even come into the show. Like he was just chilling. Pretty cool. Let's see. Who's next? Who's posted a YouTube video they want to talk about? Who's got a YouTube video? Digital Rancher, you got like a hot mic or something. You might be PTTing or something. There you go. Go ahead. Who's next?
I don't have anything in the queue currently, but I do have an idea for, well, 2 ideas for videos, one of which includes the FTM 500 as soon as I get it back, hopefully in a week and a half from Yaesu.
Okay. I mean, if that was all it took, I've got 500 ideas for videos that I haven't been able to get to.
For me, it's a simple one. The 500 might have the same issue the 400 did with the MOSFETs on VHF.
Okay. So you're going to test it?
Yeah, it's coming back from repair. They said it should be done by the 19th of August, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Very good. Cool. All right. Anybody else next? Do we have another YouTuber in the house?
Yeah, Molson was here for a little bit, but he's disappeared again.
Molson might just be chilling on YouTube right now.
I have a question.
Let's see. I think we've exhausted our YouTubers today. So thank you, Digital Rancher, and Frank for hanging out. Okay, gentlemen with is that kanji? That's their username.
I have a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but is that your what is your username?
Oh yeah, it's Teraball.
Can you make that like not kanji and just like regular English when you get a chance? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just wondering, is there a website that you would recommend for just beginners or just in general for all the ham lingo, you know, like soda, POTA, and QR, especially the Q codes and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's called Google. Just type in the Google and it'll tell you what it is.
Well, I know. I just meant it like a specific site or something you guys might
No,
go to. For
you know why it's too difficult to have a site that does that? Because like no one person knows all the acronyms and all the Q codes and all the weird acronyms and stuff like that. Nobody's maintaining that. There's no human being that's doing all of that, right? Wikipedia kind of gets close, but Wikipedia is probably going to fail on things like Parks on the Air and whatnot. So it truly is Google. Just Google the terms. I bet you if you took the acronym you heard, like POTA, and put ham radio on the other side of it, you'd find the answer you're looking for. In fact, we can do it live. Let's do that live. So think like an engineer and assume that nobody's going to help you. You got to help yourself. POTA ham radio.
There is a lot of new guy stuff at the ARRL website.
Yeah,
a lot of new primer kind of thing.
But their website's kind of rough too. I don't really advocate their website. Yeah, so if you go POTA ham radio, pull up Google, there you go. And if you go to, I made a video on dealing with acronyms. It's explaining this kind of thing, kind of taking back the responsibility of like you figuring out where you don't know the thing, right? If you depend on somebody else like giving you the answers to everything, you're not going to retain a lot of that information, right? You really have to get involved, particularly when it comes to acronyms, and sometimes you can ignore them completely. There's also some tactics to that as well. I can tell you as an engineer, there are plenty of military acronyms that I thought were going to be really important to my day-to-day life, and they really were not.
Roger?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Question.
Is that Marty? Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Earlier you were discussing APRS and real and not real APRS. I'm just curious if you could elaborate on that because I did not understand where that was going.
So if you took a Kenwood D74, for instance, Kenwood D74, now discontinued, they just came out with the D75. That has a TNC, a terminal node controller. What that's doing is it's like a modem almost. It's taking in audio, and it is doing some amount of work on it. In this case, keep it simple, stupid is the format that it's doing. But it's AX25 packet is basically what you'll hear a lot of the times. So KISS, TNC, physical devices, USB, you can plug into it with a laptop or a computer. You can even do Bluetooth. Full control APRS with the Kenwood because it has a discrete device, being that TNC. The Yaesus, on the other hand, John did not answer me when I asked this, but we believe that it's some kind of like FPGA, probably a part of the radio device, whatever it is, however many chips there are that's doing the logic work. But there is no TNC on the FT5DR, at least a discrete one that's accessible via USB or Bluetooth or whatever. It only does APRS based off of what it is programmed to do. It's not a free-form APRS that can just pass through to like a computer like you might do with the Kenwood. It's only able to do the APRS that's provided based off of the firmware that the radio has. That's it. So it's not, we don't call it full APRS. We call it Yaesu APRS or something along those lines. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is it's synthesized. It's digital.
Well, no, it's not. It's digital in the it's digital in the sense that a digital device is creating the audio packets, right? But your phone can create those packets. It's still going over analog. It's not going off over a digital protocol like D-Star or DMR or Yaesu System Fusion. APRS is simply audio tones that are being sent over FM, right? And what I'm saying is with the Kenwood, there is a device called a TNC that is doing that heavy lifting for you. It is taking the audio in, converting it out to KISS A25 packet data, and vice versa. It's taking in, I just knocked that. Taking in A25 from like your phone or from its own, from the Kenwood itself for GPS data, whatnot, and it's passing it through. The Yaesu is not passing it through a TNC. It's just handling the audio processing somewhere in the radio, which could be in that digital processing chip that it's using for Yaesu System Fusion. I don't know. I can't assume because they're not going to tell me the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that. I have one more question, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Early, I mean, I've had my license for about a year now, so at one point I got a chance to help an older ham just getting rid of some stuff, and he had a 440 Yagi that was broken, and he was throwing it away, and I just asked if I could have it. So anyway, I've been on this little journey to fix it, and I bought some round stock aluminum and got a hold of the manual and cut it to the length said on the manual. Then I bought a nano VNA and measured it, and everything seemed to be, SWR was good, and the resistance was measured good. So then I go over to my local ham club and explain, here's what happened, and I was happy about that. But somebody's like, oh, have you measured the front to back ratio? I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know anything about that, and I'm just wondering if there's a kind of straightforward, here's where you can start learning about that answer.
You can Google what front to back ratio is. You can pull up the ARRL handbook. There's probably a number of YouTube videos on it, but basically it's the I'm trying to think of the right words to use for front to back ratio. It's basically the rejection, I believe, from not just the front to back, meaning where the gain is. It's measuring the front to back ratio of gain versus rejection out of the back, because it's like a flashlight, if you think about it, like a floodlight, not a floodlight, but a beam light that you're pointing in one direction. That's front to back, but you mentioned something else about rebuilding the Yagi. What's going on there again, or where you having problems with it?
Oh, it was partially broken, meaning some of the elements, half of it was gone, if that makes sense.
Oh, he's trying to figure out how to calculate the elements again.
Well, I someone helped me find the manual for it. So in the manual, it says, this particular element is this long. So I was,
okay.
I had my ground under me in that sense.
Yeah, the impression I got from what you said is that you didn't have any trouble rebuilding it. That part's done. You're just trying to figure out how to measure the front to back, right?
Yeah, and, when that was described to me, the person, I was trying to ask what they meant by that, but they didn't explain. So,
right.
Yeah, I was just, going to start that journey at some point here and just figure that out. And, maybe the other question would be, what tool would you use to make a calculation like that?
I'm not sure. Don't you have to use like a field strength meter, and it has to be moved around to calculate the front to back ratio in the traditional sense? Otherwise, you have to model
DNA saver will do it.
Well, it'll do it somewhat like it'll kind of calculate it, but it won't actually show you what it is.
So yeah, what does that test look like? How do you rig up a nano VNA to do that? Is it just on the feed point of the antenna? And then you have to have like some kind of signal generator of X dB that you position to the left, right, back, and front of the antenna? Let's look it up. What the hell?
Yes, Jody posted something.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jody probably has got
one thing, it doesn't matter. I think your friend at the club was just talking some lingo at you, because that front to back it's already part of the design for that company's Yagi. And the only way you're going to figure that out for sure is to put each element into like Easy Neck or one of the other antenna modeling programs and rebuild it in software exactly as it's built.
Yeah.
But it's not something you can adjust now. That's those spacings, that size, all that is part of the design of that antenna. It's not adjustable.
Well, if he screwed up,
I would agree.
If he screwed up the links or something, then the front to back ratio would be screwed up. But yeah, so it's basically saying front to back ratio is calculated through measurement of an antenna copolar radiation pattern or measured by rotating an actively transmitting antenna inside an somebody will anechoic, thank you, chamber, and measuring power levels at set intervals. Yeah, so you'd have to rotate the antenna at different points and measure, and you get something out like this.
Or you use the software and calculate it.
Yeah, I was going to say you can use the software, but that implies that you measured perfectly, cut perfectly every time.
Right, and I mean, if you were designing an antenna, that would matter. You're repairing one, and you already have the specs for it. So if your measurements are right, you'll know.
It's one of those things in ham radio that, like, you could spend a lot of sweat equity, if you will, verifying that what you did is absolutely perfect, right? And that gets you some peace of mind. But the reality is that, like, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but it's like, if you did the thing as defined by the instructions of that antenna that you got, you're probably good enough. It's probably going to be well more effective than not having a Yagi, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the best the way that you can probably do it at home is to stick up like just a vertical 440 antenna, I think you said it was. Just stick a vertical up there and look at some repeaters around you that seem far away and see how the vertical does, and then stick the Yagi up there, point it at it, and see if you do better. Yeah. And if that's working, then that antenna is working. It may not be the exact specs that the guy's original design is, but what do you care? It works.
Yeah, it's an old antenna anyway. I wouldn't expect it to be necessarily 100%.
If
it's damaged.
If you took the same concept of what I do with my antenna videos, if you have a friend that's a couple miles away from you and you put up a antenna, like a vertical antenna, hook an SDR to it, start recording the SWR values, and then transmit it with a vertical, and then transmit with the Yagi, you get a really strong difference on what the signal to noise ratio increase was against the two antennas. And you could do it the other way around. You can listen at your home station and do an S9, an S, signal strength comparison of people talking, you talking to your buddy, all that stuff. That's more practical ham radio testing that I like a little bit more, because it's something that you can use as a demonstrator, right? You have actual evidence.
Yeah, well, I like that. That'd be kind of down my road too. Does it work? And,
real world's always going to beat theoretical, anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, did you ever do a video on how you set up your SDR for that?
Other than I just say that I'm recording the SNR values, and that's all I'm doing is I'm recording the audio and I'm recording the SNR values, the signal to noise ratio, on a given frequency, and then I transmit into that frequency from the same location, and we compare the SNR values, and that's how I get my test values.
Yeah, I've watched every one of those videos. Nobody's come close to you yet on testing antennas or radios practically. Plugging in a little VNA is not going to give you anything close to an anechoic chamber, or exactly what you're doing, which is practical.
I'm not doing anechoic. That's a new word. I did not know that, so thank you, everybody. Anechoic chamber. I love that. The thing with the anechoic chamber, though, at least from what I just read, is that it's taking multiple test points, right? I'm not taking multiple test points. I'm taking, like, point A to point B. I'm not rotating them. So I don't actually do a good job. Like, where my tests lack, particularly on my truck, how my truck is aligned. We've found now from my last 2 videos that how my truck is aligned could favor one antenna over another antenna, and that's just the reality of my testing. The best way to do it would be to drive my truck into an anechoic chamber, or a more everyman solution would be to have a field strength meter that we parked drive out into the middle of a field that I could get access to. I guess I could figure this out. Have a field strength meter that we position, let's say 100 feet. Well, I have to be out of the close field. I have to be in the far field. So however far the far field is for whatever band we're using, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and then rotated that 10 degrees is probably a little bit insane, but let's say 15 to 20 degrees, and did a test at every 20-degree cardinal position at 100 feet away from my truck. That would be valuable, because then not only would we get field strength, right, of an omnidirectional, but we'd also get gain and any kind of weird plotting that happened based off of the mounting of the antenna, right?
And do a controlled amount of power out every time also.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like about a 1 watt or 1 or 2 watts. That way you don't have to get as far out, right?
Well, you have to be as far out to do far field. You can't do close field. Close field is too chaotic to get good measurements. You'd have to do far field. Far
field would vary based on power, right?
No.
Far,
not really. So yes, you would have to duck the power down so that you get appropriate measurements, so you could have an A/B comparison. But far field testing, you have to be X number of feet away. It's going to depend on the band.
I mean, technically, you could do something like that now with your current setup. You just find a field where you could drive around in a circle. I mean, you're gonna make a small enough circle where it's not going to be that big a deal.
Well, yeah, kinda. So kinda yes, kinda no, right? Because if I parked, so this is my truck, this is the front, right? I need to go 360 degrees around the truck, not the truck go 360 degrees around a target, a receiver. See the difference?
Yeah.
Because the position of the truck is actually the thing we're testing, not the position of the radio. You see what I mean? See it? Did you get it?
Yeah, but you can move the receiver or you can move the truck.
Yeah, it's going to be easier.
No, you move the field strength meter. It's a handheld item, my friend.
You don't want to move the truck, because then that changes the test, right? So if there's an anthill that's a meter high out the front of the left bumper, I don't want to keep turning around that with the truck or moving the truck around and adding this new variable. I want the position of the truck to remain static, and the only thing that moves to be the sensor, if you will.
And there's mountains on the left side and not on the right side, all kinds of things like that.
That's not what I'm talking about, though. What I mean is, like, as opposed to what you're saying with your current setup, where you have it like set up at your house, and you're saying that depending on the way your truck's pointed, you have a different signal to noise ratio or signal strength at your receiver. Well, if you take those measurements in your truck and with your truck in different positions, then you'll have data from the different positions of your truck for each antenna.
Yes,
hypothetically. Instead of setting it up like as a pseudo anechoic chamber, you could do it that way with your current setup and really not change a whole lot, other than that you just move your truck.
I mean, again, yes, I'm with what you're saying, but the problem I'm seeing with that is I'm never going to be able to perfectly position the truck so that I'm equal. You know what I mean? Like if you drove a rod straight through the top of the truck and you just picked it up and rotated it 5 degrees every time, I would never be able to achieve that level of accuracy. So the difference would be, on my antenna mount with the NMO, I have a string that's 100 feet or whatever, and it goes to the receiver, the field strength meter, and we move that at 20-degree increments all the way around the truck. That's easier to do from my layperson approach than not, if that makes sense.
You have it correct. My dad was an engineer. He showed me how to do this in like 1976, and he always ran dual-phased antennas on his truck because he knew that they would directionally transmit front to back. And a truck, by its own nature, having a longer ground plane, is more directional because of the ground plane.
Yep.
Right.
All cars are like that.
But if you go with the gentleman Jim, I think it's Jim. If it's not, I apologize. Who makes compact antenna, right? He was telling me, he's like, your antenna placement's not the best for my antenna. It really wants to be in one of the corners of like a truck cab, the rear left or the rear right position. That's going to give you the best results. And I was like, well, geez, you already were the #1 antenna on 2 meters. So like, how is it going to get any better? But he was like, no, it'll get better. I'm like, okay, all right.
I don't know. I was just always told the most amount of mass of metal, is what's going to, that's the direction it's going to flow.
The traditional omnidirectional recommendation is smack dab in the middle of the top of the roof of your vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want it,
right.
We want it at the highest point and right in the middle as best we can.
But even at the middle, the thing is long and not perfectly square, so it's going to go in the direction of the most towards either the front or the back, because that's where the most metal is.
Correct. Yeah.
Because it's the shape of the ground plane underneath the antenna, not the shape of the antenna.
Yep. Oh, David.
Exactly right.
AB9.
100%.
David AB9YG is going on a cruise, so he's heading out. Well, have fun on your cruise. I don't know if you're on voice, but tell us what radios you're smuggling aboard, and are you going to talk to the captain before you transmit?
Oh, you're supposed to do that, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And by the way, Frank Tank Radio just came back from a cruise, and he talked a little bit about that kind of stuff.
His first attempt at cruising with ham radio was a disaster. So
yeah, because he
worked a little better for him.
Yeah, he forgot the radio or lost the radio last time. This time he did actually have it, and he did talk to the captain to get permission. And anyway, he's got a video out on it.
All right, I need to run to the restroom, but we have one ham radio for non-techies that's joined us, so I'm going to yield the floor to him. Are you here, man? I was really hoping you're here, so that way you can run with the show for a second while I go to
I'm
the
here.
restroom. Hey, why don't you tell everybody what you're up to while I take a quick run to the restroom? Can you do that for me?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you great, man. Go for
it.
Great. But we did hear
Okay,
you.
let me get my bearings here for a second.
Sure.
How the hell are you doing physically, Scott?
Doing a lot better.
Right.
I just recently bought a new 4Runner. And,
oh, nice.
Unfortunately, they changed the design since the 2000 4Runner, so I went and bought the exact same antenna mount, which is the with a K400, the Diamond K400.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it originally mounted on the lip of the passenger door of the front door of my truck. Well, Toyota changed the configuration. So now my two choices are I can mount it to the front of the hood on the passenger side, or I can mount it to the hatchback on the back of the truck on the passenger side, and then run the 13.5-foot cable through the truck somehow without it being seen or messed up with. So the reason why the installation for my Yaesu FTM 400 has not hit the channel yet is because I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to route this stupid thing, so I'm not wasting y'all's time watching it.
Hey, Comet makes some truck-specific mounts that will use a bolt from the fender. I use that on the Jeep and on my F-350.
I might have to take a look and look into that then.
Too. Diamond has a really good hood mount, and they recommend you go off the side as well.
Yeah. Well, the one I've got here will work on the hood, and the last one didn't move until the truck got flipped over, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's just doing really well. So I'm just trying to work out the details on things. I got a lot of videos lined up. My whiteboard next to my studio here is just packed with all kinds of topics. Just got to get out there and get in front of the camera and start doing it.
Yeah, you're gonna video the how you're doing the truck.
Yes, and the other part of that is it's been 105 degrees every day.
Oh yeah, I live here too.
Working outside in the heat, even in the shade.
Oh God.
Yeah, it just takes a while, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming, and I'll get that rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's bad in the house, much less outside.
But yeah, tonight I'm starting the celebration of my birthday, which is tomorrow. And
happy birthday, Scott!
Thank you.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, great show again tonight. See, Josh. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, great show tonight, man. I watched it, and I actually watched it in my truck because my truck has a really cool entertainment center built into the front of it there. So I was watching your videos. You were coming home from dinner.
Nice. Well, thank you. I
Hey
appreciate that.
Scott, I got a suggestion for you when you mount the that 400 in the cab is pick up a Lido mount. Just
I've already got one. I one from the last truck. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
yeah, I just put one in my truck and it's great. Only thing I said it was running a little close to the gear shift on my Tacoma, and I just had to do the little adjustments on it.
Yeah, those things are absolutely fantastic. If you ever want to mount a ham radio into your vehicle, those Lido mounts are really, really good. They're super stiff. I mean, unless you know, have an impact, like an accident or something like that, it's not going to move. So I highly, highly recommend those. And mine survived the accident. So, we were able to salvage that out of the truck and get that back.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear, man.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna shut down. The SYL's giving me dirty looks. So I'll talk to you guys next week.
Have her join. Have her join. We'll answer her ham radio questions too. Like, why does my husband spend so much money on amateur radio? We'll answer all of her questions. I promise.
Yeah, but she'll probably just go and start blaming you, Josh.
And you know what? That's okay. You know how many wives or significant others blame me? Because it goes both ways. I know husbands that are not happy about their wives buying ham radios because of me too. So I get it. I understand. I will be your scapegoat. I'm okay doing that.
Okay, I'll let you be. Either that, or I'll let Frank be it. That's always more fun.
K6 SUD. I did this on a video, man. You can go pull it up, but I'll pull it up. You can look at it. So here's my settings for map. There you go. It's above my head. They don't know you like I know you. Or they don't love you like I love you, right? That's maps. Yeah. Anyway. Guitar Hero fans? Or is that yeah. Is that Guitar Hero?
I think the only time the XYLs get really pissed off is when you leave them with the silent key auction and they're trying to figure out how those prices actually matched up to what we told them we paid for it.
Yeah. So I did it's Rock Band. It was Rock Band on the Xbox that had maps. And I normally play the drums on that. I haven't played this in over a decade, right? But when I did, it was the big party at the Nass household. My wife would I don't know, remember what she would do. She would sing a lot of times. But when she wasn't singing, I played the drums. I would sing occasionally, and I found out that the game really likes it if you're a man and you sing the song Maps. You do like a Western type of country music drawl on it, and that works out perfectly. It actually sounds pretty good too if you do Maps with a country drawl.
Everybody else not hearing Josh anymore?
I thought it
cut out.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I thought it was me too.
I thought it was just me.
He cut out.
Yeah, and I also didn't see anybody else talking, so I assumed, yeah, it's just me.
I was checking my sound settings.
Well, I've heard a couple of times it get real crackly when he was talking, but again, I thought it was on my side.
Yeah, I guess somebody had to say CQ.
Our audio is coming through on YouTube just fine, but his audio on Discord went away.
Mm-hmm. It seems like it might be a mic problem, or he's getting RF into his mic.
He's got a rough situation.
At least it's not FDA.
His neighbors have some pretty potent Wi-Fi issues.
Question if
I get the Wi-Fi every time I come home with new ham equipment.
Go ahead, question.
Yeah, while Josh is working on that, I just kind of on the VHF, UHF part of the band, somebody's asked you for a signal report. My meter has, a white area and a blue area after that, 7 hash marks in the white portion of it, what are they? I have my opinion on this, but
We're
what are the kind of proper ways to?
so the white is towards the bottom and the blue is towards the top.
It's a horizontal scale, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. It doesn't matter. So then the white is towards the bottom and the blue towards the top. Then
Yeah.
because what I believe they're trying to tell you is where it breaks from white to blue, that's S9, and when you get above into the blue, it'd be +5, +10, +20. The thing is, you're going to have to play it by ear on what you call that. So if it's in the below the white line, is it S8, S7? It's kind of up to you, and as long as you've got a kind of your own self sense, if you will, you can do that, because I do this on POTA all the time. When somebody is talking to me, in a lot of cases, it doesn't even move my freaking needle. But if they're really loud, I'll tell them they're an S9, and if they're not, if they're difficult for me to pick up, then I'll say, well, you're a 5.1, meaning I can hear them well, but I can't do it. But on FM, you're basically looking at that scale, and the breakover between the white and the blue in your case would be where the 9 is, and anything below that you would go less than, in less than 9, from 0 to 9, and then anything above 9 would be +5, +10, +20 kind of thing.
Perfect. Yeah, I was counting the hash marks, and I really probably should have gone back to manual to see how they describe it. But I've kind of gotten into this overthinking it.
There's another part of that. Don't forget, the front part is the numbers to 5 are intelligibility, and on VHF, UHF, because you're running FM, if their face is too far away from the mic, they're going to be much quieter. So if you're getting a full S9 or more signal, but they're very quiet, you have to tell them, hey, I'm getting you 3.9. You might want to talk closer to the mic.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, you got bacon frying there. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
A little sizzle.
Yeah. And sorry, I didn't mean to call you out, Craig. I was just making a joke.
I've got the bacon in the pan all the time here. Holy crap. I was getting ready to ask you DMR experts a question or two.
Yeah, not me. I'm not a DMR guy on purpose.
I'm somewhat of I'm well versed with DMR. I'll put it that way.
D-Star for life.
Well, here's the question. It's, not a question of when I'll be in the hospital next, but how long. And I'm not spending another 2 months like I did the rest of this year looking at TV. I'm absolutely need to get a DMR capable HT and run it into my PC. So I'm just wow. Now I'm looking at these Sherry devices, and they're not making it clear. Is that a digital HT or is that analog?
No, that's analog. Shari would be a all-star node, and it would be analog. And by the way, when you're in the hospital, would they even allow you to transmit in the hospital?
I think I hear Josh.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm
can
back.
get away with it on the milliwatt scale. Basically, it has to go into my PC.
Milliwatt scale? Then yeah, you should use digital voice. Use a hotspot.
Well, he's talking about a Shari node, and a digital hotspot's what you want as opposed to a Shari, because a Shari is an analog all-star node generally, and there's lots of people that make digital hotspot.
I was gonna say, how much you want to spend? Because if you go with the open spot, you can actually use the app to communicate into the talk groups, which then gets around the RF almost entirely, aside from Wi-Fi. Which it's not the recommendation I would make normally, but if you're in the hospital, it is absolutely the recommendation I would make.
Yeah, because I could actually see them coming in there and saying, even if you're at the milliwatt range, that no, we don't trust our equipment. You can't have RF around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ancient monitoring equipment in those hospitals, and it is not well built, and it is not well shielded.
Yeah, unlike a
Yeah, exactly.
plane,
I mean,
who I think is BS that you can't have a phone on when you're on a plane. A hospital is an area where I wouldn't mess around with RF. That is not the
yeah,
time
but
for
they
that.
they use Part 90 radios in hospitals all the time.
Well,
Like you got
I was going to
paramedics, you
say.
got all these.
like
police
that means
people.
anything to us. We know that doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is they can do whatever they want. It's what they're going to tell you or what they're going to say when they come by and you're using the radio.
Yeah.
They learned to just leave me the hell alone after the first few days. That's basically so I can vape and mind my own business.
Vape and mind my own business. Yeah, I have a feeling that would not be necessarily what a lot of hospitals would let you do. But who knows?
Yeah. If you go in there on a regular basis, you may very well have a relationship with those people. So
I do whatever I can to make sure they discharge me as fast as possible.
Yeah, my wife was doing that for a while, and I can tell you it is not fun. And the TV is some of the most awful thing up there.
When we were in the hospital with my son, one of the times I accidentally left my APRS beacon on, and it fired off a beacon from my D74, and it actually made the paper towel dispenser shoot out paper towel.
Uh-oh.
That's a few watts, but if you're smart, you stick all your crap in the same backpack I always bring that hides all my other stuff, and you screw a dummy load onto that radio. Shouldn't need any more than the backsplatter of 200 milliwatts tops.
Well, I'm telling you, if we could have, like when I would go to the cafeteria or something, my wife would have had a Baofeng and I would have had a Baofeng. But they just flat, that was not even allowed in any way, shape, or form.
It's because of the heart monitor machine.
Sure, yeah, and she was on them, so yeah.
Question?
Yeah, go ahead. Question.
Hey, I had a local linked repeater system, and one of the repeaters has fell out and disconnected a lot of the other cities nearby. And I was wondering what could be used to link that, maybe possibly over the internet, because there's a a big mound between us and the other people of Earth we can't get around.
Yeah, there's a mention of All-Star. All-Star will do it.
Yeah, all of our repeaters around, really almost all the way around North Texas are All-Star linked.
Yeah, the wind system out here on the West Coast is all Star linked.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. I didn't know which one to look into because I wasn't familiar with any of them, and I didn't want to waste a lot of time learning about something that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is because I use All-Star myself, but somehow or another that works really well for controlling repeaters because, like I said, there's so many repeater operators out here in North Texas that use All-Star for controlling the repeater. It's not just like linking the repeater. They're actually going in and controlling them and turning it into net mode, like when it changes the tone for this is a net's in progress or something. All of that stuff is done through All-Star.
A net.
Yeah, net in progress.
Yeah, who was there?
I got a question.
One of Josh's guests he had on a couple months back when he set up his WinLink mail. He found out he was actually doing better bouncing off of All-Star repeaters that people run out of their own house than he was trying to get the system repeaters that were set up on towers.
Wow.
Someone had a question.
Okay. Go ahead. That's the next question.
Yeah, I got a question about ALC.
Okay.
So I've got an IC 7100, and I just noticed this probably within the past couple of days. So when I'm on the HF bands, like specifically like 40 meter or 20 meter, lately I've noticed like the ALC is like it's overdriving. I had my my mic gain set like at 60%, and it was I don't know, maybe I'm just noticing it now, but I have to get it down to like 20% or so. Is that normal? In order for it to not be like overdriven, and I'm using the speech compressor.
Oh, so do you have the ALC meter on?
Yeah, so I generally like I'll tap the screen to look at like all of the available meters.
So you have the meter display on. So
yeah,
when you're on single sideband, if the ALC is not going beyond that little bracketed area, you're fine.
no, yeah, so it's going beyond, unless I'm down to like 20% or
20% of what?
20% on the mic gain.
Okay, so dial back the mic gain.
Okay, so that's not gonna like affect my readability if it's like really low.
Well, did you watch the live stream by chance? Did you watch the live stream by chance?
Today's live stream,
yeah.
Some of it, like probably it was like I caught the last end of
okay,
it.
Not a big deal. But one of the things Tim says that's really important is that you get on your ham radio, particularly HF, with a friend, and you check out your audio with them. So the answer to your question is maybe, because until you get on the air with somebody that can come back to you and tell you what your readability is, we're all just speculating. So the other thing you can do is you can get on WebSDR, find a WebSDR that you can normally transmit into, and if you haven't done this before, well, it's a great little experiment then. Find a WebSDR that you try them until you can hear yourself, and then tweak your audio so that you sound as punchy as you think you should.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this, because I get thrown off when I do this, you don't have to listen to yourself on the WebSDR. You can set the WebSDR to record you, and then you can talk into the mic and not listen to it. Because when I'm listening to myself talk, I get all tongue-tied and everything else. So there are multiple ways of doing it, and if you need to, look for the record feature on the WebSDRs.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think I'll try that because I mean I did mess with the tone and the bass on the transmit settings. The tone, the bass and treble settings. So I don't know if maybe because I'm just using the hand mic, and I think maybe that might be screwing something up. But I don't know because
it
was fine until.
Are you not using different equipment? This is all the same equipment that you've normally used?
Yeah, it's all the same equipment, and I have it going through a MFJ Versa to like an older tuner. When I don't use a tuner,
the tuner's fine.
It seems a little bit better.
Oh, interesting. Well, that could change things some. The tuner might be part of the issue. You really got to record yourself and hear yourself to be able to know for sure. Everything we're saying right now is speculation until you do that, to be honest. Because we're not going to know, right? We're not going to know, right? Until you hear yourself or someone hears you, then there's nothing we can tell you. You really do have to be able to. I mean, if you want, you could pick a frequency and people could all hop over to WebSDR. We can see we could hear you, or if we could turn up our HF radios and we can try it. You want to try it?
Let's do it live.
All right, let's. Okay, let me go head to the shack.
I mean, I don't know what else to do, really. Right? That's ultimately what we're gonna have to do.
There's one other good benefit to that test, especially the way it's being described, is you can never tell for sure what your DX takeoff angles are like when you're subpar on the height. But the farther you get out on those web SDRs, the more you're going to be able to tell how your propagation is, and you can tune your antenna for that.
What? How so? You mean move it physically? Like move it somewhere else?
No, stack more Yagis. Didn't you listen to
Well,
Tim?
yeah, of course, but you can't like tune your
You
antenna.
know what he's doing? When you stack Yagis, you're just compressing the takeoff angle more tightly on the horizon, and
From
that's
what
you
I
have
was
to do that.
what I was told is it actually fills in the nulls because when you get Yagis that are too high, you get nulls because they'll create nulls, and then if you stack them, you're actually stacking the nulls on top of each other, and it'll eliminate the nulls.
But that's not tuning. Those are resonant antennas. They're not
Yes.
tuning them differently.
Right.
I turned it to run a little lean. Actually, I tuned it to run a little rich. That way, when
No,
I get
you-
under
you
boost
can
and the
do that.
turbocharger spooled up on my ham radio, it runs
Not
okay.
all of us.
Well, I don't know what tune. You can't tune differently. I don't know what that means. You'd have to define that differently. What you meant by that?
I think he just meant adjust, like his takeoff angle.
So
Just
physically,
by
move it.
dropping my angles on my off center fed, if I come down 15 degrees,
Absolutely.
I'm changing the takeoff angle.
Absolutely.
It's all
You're-
half off the ground, all half-wave off the ground stuff.
Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm with you. 100%.
And that's the thing on those towers when they're putting those Yagis on those towers, they're generally higher than the optimum. And when you get higher than the optimum, you start to get nulls because, you can do the MMA or whatever and look at it, and you'll see all these nulls. But if you stack them on top of each other, the nulls will start to go away because they're covering each other inside the nulls that the other ones are creating.
So I lost my my USB to my radio, but it definitely has a mic still. So what frequency do we want to go to for this Epic Ham Radio audio test?
Okay, I'm going to do 40 meters, but I got to get tuned up real quick.
40 meters. All right. Well, not all of us will be able to hear you then. Where are you located?
I'm in Southwest Idaho. So what do you suggest then?
No, 20 meters if you can do it. It should be a bit wider, but
Okay,
no, it's
well,
fine.
I'll go
Let's
20.
start with 40. If you're already at 40, we'll try it there.
Okay,
This is a bummer
hang on.
because I can pipe my audio normally into my computer so you could hear it, but right now, I don't know what happened. Everything's dead. Everything had died. It's that I think my USB hub is dying. I have to rewire pretty
What
much my
kind of
entire
antenna
shack.
do you have?
What?
His antenna, what kind is he? If he's Omni, I can go to the north side of Utah with the university's web SDR. Really good setup there.
Oh, that might work with Utah. Yeah.
I got an end-fed half wave, and it's so the transformer is up at the top of the mast and stretched out the full length of the wire.
All right. What frequency are you aiming for here? He's in Idaho.
I will say this, Matt. I did ping you in the Discord on the live stream chat. There's a guy that's somewhat local to you. He's a good friend of mine. He might be able to help you locally as well if we can't get anything worked out here for you.
Well, we're just gonna see what he sounds like. Most of these new radios are just fine. You know, you just got to give them the. Wow, 40 meters is actually really busy. Where do you think you're heading?
Looks like 7.200 is clear.
Okay, that looks clear on my end.
Okay, we'll commence testing.
November Kilo Victor, you're coming in loud and clear. This is Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. QSL? Copy. Yeah, there is a little bit of some kind of clipping that's happening, so maybe you should actually dive in your gain just a touch. And yeah, this is an interesting frequency to pick, but hey, here we go. I would also recommend you try turning on your compressor and set it to like mid, just something in the middle.
I'm hearing both you and him in Northern California.
Good.
Yeah, I've got both you guys in San Diego.
Pretty good. Yeah, you're totally. I can understand you completely. You sound great. You might want to increase the compressor a little bit, a little more compression. That'll help make you a little bit more punchy. And I'd be playing this off of you, but I can't because my USB crapped out. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, you should be able to find. You should be fine with that. I would encourage you to try the online SDRs in the future, though, and see if you can hear yourself. Which it sounds like the North Utah one out of Salt Lake might work for that. So yeah, that seems to work okay. You're in there. Usually, mic gain is something you want to adjust. You can adjust just using your ALC. Just keep it within where the happy space is for your icon there. All right. Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu just saying 7-3. That's worked out just fine. See ya. Oh, good. Other people can help him out. All right. You guys keep talking, but good. Got other people. Okay. So why is 7.200 a bad idea? 7.200 is kind of like the ham radio dumpster fire of HF, if you will. It's the universally bad frequency. That's what you want to do. So if you want to get on a bad frequency, or you want to listen to people that just get on there and fight about the dumbest things, 7.200 is where you're at.
So
well, thanks for letting me know that now.
Bad frequency is in bad people or bad signal?
Bad people. And apparently
Josh is in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I set off a fire alarm. We're having all kinds of fun stuff happening at the house. USB blew up. I don't know what the deal is. I wasn't even on 40, but 40 is such a pain in the butt band for me, I swear. But hey, I got out. That's all that matters.
You were on 40, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, we've been friends for how many years now, and you're just telling me now about this band?
What, 7.200? The frequency?
Yeah, that frequency. That sounds like fun.
Oh no, it's total trash. It's not good. Particularly, okay, so for all you adults that are watching, go ahead and watch. Go ahead and listen to 7.200. For anybody that's like trying to introduce somebody to amateur radio, don't have them go anywhere near 7.200.
Josh, I would respectfully disagree.
Oh, I never knew that. I wouldn't have picked it.
Yeah,
I just was scrolling through the dial, and I was like, "Oh, this one sounds clear."
Yeah, and see, even Nate knew, right? Is that even my smoke detector knew 7.200 was a dumpster fire. Did you see what happened there? That's what happened. That's
hey,
right.
Josh.
Yeah.
I would respectfully disagree. 7,200 on the West Coast is reasonably okay. It's the East Coast and the middle of the country and the East Coast that's the dumpster fire. Out here, it's the extra wide sideband guys that really love that high fidelity audio, and they're technically 7199, but close enough, tomato.
Yeah.
Yes, the dumpster fire. Yeah, avoid it on 7,200 back east. Out here, totally different story.
Good point. We have the Wharfinet dudes. We got Billy and the Wharfinet assholes that we have out here on the West Coast. But yeah, 7.200 is not that bad on the West Coast.
The 7199 guys are on 7194 right now talking about Thetis and software radios with really good audio.
I should listen.
Isn't there a repeater in LA that is like that too? Yeah. W6 or K6 NUT is kind of a hot one. The 435, as we like to affectionately call it, the 435 is also a hot one. Although I think that's kind of defunct right now. I don't know what's going on with that one. But yeah, those are also dumpster fires.
I wish I'd recorded it. I heard you call out your call sign, and then I heard a bunch of QRM, and it was a bunch of dudes laughing and a bunch of playing stuff.
Yep.
It was like a hot mess.
Yeah.
It was like they heard you.
Oh yeah.
And they just cranked it up.
Oh yeah.
That's the 7200 dumpster fire.
Yeah. Hey, good to know that I'm making it to the east, but I can't hear them, so that's kind of funny. So I'm making it, but they're not making it. What
they must know who you are.
Oh yeah, they don't have a super station. They don't have a super station on the air on 40 meters.
They like to think they do, but
I'm just kidding, guys. I know it's all fun. I'm just kidding.
Josh, I will say this: you were 5'7" in the Northern California, and you were at least a 5'6" in the Utah.
I don't even turn on my amp. Don't. I would highly recommend no one do a POTA activation on 7.200.
Oh,
do not do that.
Done.
I know it's been done. I know, but don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Done it, and it's tons of fun.
Mm-mm. No, because some of those guys have nothing better to do. They'll follow you around other frequencies.
Yeah. Well, and that does happen on POTA now. There's a lot of people that interfere with POTA stations.
It's like going to a haunted house and then the ghosts just follow you around.
Yep.
Now, whether that's where it's coming from or not, I don't know, but they do like to follow POTA stations around.
Yep. Anyway, I think we got the. We solved the problem.
So, I have a question. When it's time for another question?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here around 9 o'clock though, because I got lots of stuff to do this weekend. This is the last weekend of summer break for the kids. They go back to school on Monday, so. And I got to get ready for Huntsville. Whew.
Yeah, and actually, that's what I'm actually going to ask about. So I want to shut down my station while I'm gone, and I'm just wondering if anybody has any tips. I mean, certainly disconnect all the antennas, power everything off, that stuff. But is there anything else I should be thinking about doing?
Pray hard.
Disconnect all the coax from both ends.
Leave your scanner turned on. Leave your scanner turned on and the volume cranked.
Yeah, I'm going. Well, my sister's going to be back and forth to the house, so that's not going to be a problem. But I'm not climbing up into my hex beam and disconnecting the antenna on it. And I could disconnect the DX commander, and I could and I'm thinking about laying the DX commander down, so that it's not standing up. But the hex beam, no, I'm not going to try to move it.
Wherever you can lightning secure, you should do that.
Yeah. But I could drop the hex beam, but it's a lot of work. And right now with 106 degrees outside, it's not going to... I don't think I can get that done tomorrow.
No.
So I'm going to leave it up. But I'm going to power all the power supplies down, unplug them, all that kind of stuff.
All your shack stuff is inside your house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, other than the antennas, yes.
Okay. I was going to say, if you had like if you were thinking of not having your air conditioner on, you might want to move your radios to somewhere where the heat's not going to flux up and you could potentially damage things, right?
Yeah. No, my cats are going to be here, so I don't turn off. Yeah. You don't let animals out in this heat.
Right. For my step IR, I just home all the elements.
Yeah.
Just suck them all back in, and that's it.
So you don't climb up on your roof and disconnect the coax?
No. Well, no, I ground it out at my switch. I know people complain about that, but ground it out at the switch, and then so the only thing that the lightning would be hitting is the tower and the the coax because the antenna itself, all the elements are docked, so they're pulled in. So I'm less worried about that.
And when I get back, I'm going to do the old shorting the braid to the center conductor before I connect anything back up to make sure I bleed off any static that would have built up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because they won't be connected necessarily to ground or to the ground.
That's actually why I like those alpha delta switches with the ground center position, because that's exactly what it's doing. If you have a ground rod and a lightning arrestor, it's dumping straight to that, so it's bleeding off the static constantly.
The only thing about that is that those are inside the shack here. They're not outside. So when I disconnect from outside, I've got those MFJ window mount things, and I'm going to actually disconnect across those and lay the coax down on the ground. So yeah, it won't have grounding at that point.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep trying to find those dust caps with the grounding pin.
Dust caps with the grounding. Okay.
Yeah, I do know what he's talking about. There are some that are like metal that you can literally screw into the coax. But yeah, I've gotten them on a couple of products, but I don't know where you buy them. Maybe American Radio Supply?
Just make some.
I can't manufacture. I don't have a tap to manufacture the screw.
You're just talking to ground the center conductor of the coax, right?
No, he's actually talking about a dust cover that you screw in that covers the whole thing. And yes, it includes that, but there's more to it.
I mean, you could probably just make one out of a connector.
Yeah. Shorted connector.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
True.
It's so bad here that the house actually has lightning rods. If I leave an antenna up, I'm just begging to get my radio toast.
Well, yeah, here right now it is so beastly hot. They're not even predicting rain for probably through the end of August.
And honestly, while the lightning is a concern, I'd honestly be worried about the static buildup in an incredibly dry situation like that. That's really not humid, right? So the opposite of humidity. That's when you get the static discharge. You have to be very careful about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have humidity.
Oh, that's right. Texas does have humidity. That's actually a semi-good thing for avoiding electrostatic discharge.
Yeah, and where Scott's at, it's even worse than it is up here in DFW. But
Arthur asks, "Are you going to try out SDR Connect? Is that just an SDR dongle? Another one?"
No, that's the software you downloaded.
Oh, I did a video on that. You talking about for the Mac? Yeah. Oh, no, that's SDR Control. Sorry. Let's see. Is it
SDR Connect is the replacement for SDR Uno.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on. I think that my USB issues might be because of this, but we'll see. I
was able to get on the local net in San Diego from Iowa using SDR control the other night. Worked pretty good.
So I think my USB is going to be the problem here, but this is what the GUI looks like, the interface. But it doesn't see my SDR because I think of the USB issue. I don't know what happened, but it does not see my. So this is what the GUI looks like, but my SDR is not here because my USB crapped out on me. Oh wait, no, that's the HDMI. Oh gosh, hold on. Did that just magically start working again?
Man, these SDR guys have really good audio.
Oh yeah, they're on the 7199 guys.
Yeah, they're down on 7194 right now, but it's insane. One of the guys is like 5 kilohertz wide.
Yeah, they're pretty wild.
They run up to 8K easily.
Yeah, who's up there? Do you know? Is it KB2 UBA or?
I know N6 MUD in San Diego, and then there's a guy up in like Monterey Bay or something like that.
Oh, okay. They're in California. The guys I know are all out of New York. New York, and then Steve out of Vermont.
Yeah, MUD's running a Hermes Light with the RF kit amplifier.
Mm-hmm. So he's putting out 50. I run an Onan with a Mercury, and I've run 4K, and I know that it sounds really, really good, but I don't have all the DAWs and all that stuff that those guys put in there. It's insane what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like audio files on single sideband.
But by the way, there's one of those guys, again, Steve, he K1 GMM. He actually does all of that with a 7300, and it sounds amazing.
I think we figured out what happened. After I installed, it asked me, do I want to reboot? And I said no. And then when I said no, that's when I lost my USB. So I think that's what happened. That install for the SDR Connect. So, pro tip for anyone doing a live stream, make sure you install it before you do the live stream, because it'll crash your audio chain and then you'll lose everything. Because my USB's in limbo right now. I have to restart to get it all back.
You're on a vertical for 40 meters, right, Josh?
No, my Step IR it's a dipole on 40.
Okay, yeah, because I could hear you on 40. I didn't hear you on FT8 at all, though. But you're probably pointing east.
I am pointing east, yeah. You're directly on my side. Yeah, I can't do FT8 at all right now. So, let's see. I think I'm going to wrap up early because I need to go move a bunch of stuff to the front yard. Yeah, Arthur, I think you nailed it. My wife did a bunch of work in my son's room to try and get ready for the new school year. Yes, moving dead bodies. That's it. Yep, we got to move all the dead bodies from the back of the house to the front of the house now because we're getting ready for Halloween. These are mummified bodies, of course, right? So I think I'm going to wrap up. I think we answered some questions, but I'm sorry, I'm going to head out a little bit early just so I can get this done and not have to worry about it. But yeah, go ahead. We'll stay for a couple more questions.
I'm going to make if I can, make my question the last question of the night because it's a very big question tonight. So we'll see if anyone else, and if not, I'll ask mine.
Okay. All right. Would anyone like to ask a question before we wrap things up here? And I'm looking at YouTube too.
You saw what Scott posted, right?
I did not. By the way, Perseid meteor showers tonight and peaks at 4 a.m. Oh, very nice. When I was out with K6ARK and we were on the Sierras, oh, it was amazing. The stars were brighter than I've ever seen, even at my dad's place. At 11,000 feet, you get some pretty amazing stars. It was one of those shots, like with your eyes, it looks like the Milky Way is covering half of the sky. The colors. I did some astral photography with my GoPro, but obviously it's a GoPro, so it's not going to be that great. But it's in the video that I'm putting together. But man, it was cool.
I was going to say, you got some pretty decent cameras. I was surprised you didn't bring one out and do like a time lapse or something.
No, because we were backpacking. I didn't want to drag out my 5-pound video camera and all this glass. I was trying to have a good backpacking trip with Ben, my son. So we purposely only gave Ben like 5 pounds of stuff. Like he was mainly carrying clothes. It was really lightweight. Everything else I carried for he and I, and then Adam carried like so much weight. So the first one,
Adam's a beast on those hikes.
Yeah, Adam's a beast. He can carry anything.
And he didn't bring any cameras?
He did. He brought his Canon, which I really like his Canon setup. If you ever see Adam at a show, take a look at his Canon camera setup. I can't remember what it was, but it's this all metal, like silverish gunmetal, smaller than a full size frame. It has a micro 4/3 sensor. It's really, really cool. They stopped making it. I wish they wouldn't have. It's really nice, but not the point. And then he also had a GoPro.
That guy always manages to get things. Man. Anyway.
He makes a lot of stuff, and he buys stuff that's like, he does a lot of research, and he makes really cool stuff.
Question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, question.
Josh, what do you do for water purification?
We use the Caddydyne bee-free filters.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I had both the big, larger, I think a 3-liter bag, and then I had the little personal squeeze bag. The bee-free filters were great.
Question.
Go ahead, question.
It's from the podcast. Can you drop a link to that your wife seems to really love?
Oh, you cut out. Can you drop a link to, and then all nothing, and then to what your wife really loves? What was the thing?
Water bottle.
Oh shoot! I don't know. The chicken bottle. What the hell is that thing?
I just enjoyed the story about the car that burned up and the water bottle survived, so I think I need one. Not that I'm going to be in a car when it burns. I'm just saying.
It's on the podcast. She mentions it on the podcast. You'll have to go back unless she replies to my text message.
I'll go redo that.
Yeah, sorry.
I just thought that was the coolest story to tell my wife because we were thinking about getting another water bottle set.
I know it has an O in the. It's the first letter is an O something.
Okay, that'll be a really good start. Okay.
Okay.
Owala.
Owala?
Owala?
Is it an Owala?
OWALA or something like that.
That might be it. Hold on. I'll see if I can find it.
That was it.
Sorry, we were out at Salt Plains State Park just a minute ago, and we don't have a good view of the stars. I think you guys were just talking about that. So we're hopping back in the vehicles and going south here in Oklahoma to look at stars.
Yeah, it's a 100% Owala
So
bottle.
I'm not prepared. Owala, okay.
I'll drop it in the chat.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, geez. Now my wife's calling me. Hold on. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm taking a car.
What?
I'm taking a car.
So you called to tell me that?
You told me to tell you.
You could text me back the question I was asking you. Okay, bye. Thanks for the update. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Okay, we got it. Oh,
Take
Walla
your
bottle.
car or the truck?
The truck. The truck is the car.
And she's not calling you out for not using her affiliate link?
No, I don't think she cares. They all go to the same place.
I know.
But the point, I asked her to let me know before she leaves. She was already gone, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm taking the truck." It's like, well, let me know beforehand in case there's anything I need to get out of there, and she did not. So there is something I need to get out of there. She did not let me know before she left. Yeah.
Just as long as another antenna accident doesn't happen.
All right, Frank, ask your question. Let's go. I'm gonna head out of here.
Huntsville, are you going to get any more Motorola radios if you see them?
Maybe it depends on what we see. I might get a Kenwood actually, so we'll see how that goes. To be honest, I like it. I like the Motorola. I obviously haven't shot the video on it yet, and I'll actually be bunking with Shane, who's the guy who's kind of pointing me in the right direction for all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I just don't do a lot of talking on repeaters anymore.
Yeah, I asked because Shane and I were talking on the Toad's DMR earlier. He actually popped up, and so we had a nice little conversation, and that came up. And I thought, good question to ask Josh tonight.
Well, when are you going? Are you going to be out there?
No, unfortunately, the railroad calls for too many days, so I cannot get it off to get out there.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll have Shane out there, so if there's anything good, he'll probably let me know. I would like a pager. I think the pager is a monitor is what I may look at getting in the future, but that's going to be a little bit more specialized. We might not be able to just get one of those at a ham fest, I'm guessing.
What, a Motorola pager?
No, like a first responder type pager. They're receivers, basically.
Did you ever
the Minotaur 6?
Did you ever see any of the two-way pagers that Motorola made?
Oh yeah, the flip up ones. Yep.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah, man, that was peak. That was the peak of pager. That was that signals the end.
I actually wrote a game for it.
What?
Yeah, I wrote
cool.
a game for it. Yeah, it'd play a trivia game with you.
When
That's
I was
cool.
working for NCR, I had a RIM device, Research in Motion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a two-way pager, and then they replaced them with the cellular version.
Yeah, you mean that company that Ham Radio 2.0 worked for?
Was that BlackBerry?
Did he really? He worked for
Mhm.
Research in Motion, doing what? He was just IT.
I think so, and yeah, it was part of BlackBerry too.
Well, Research in Motion was the technical arm of BlackBerry.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly the pager I had.
Yeah, man, I love those things. Those are great.
Yeah.
Yes,
all right. I think that's gonna do it for me here, guys. Sorry about the early night. We'll be back. Well, no. So next weekend, I don't know what's gonna happen. If I have multiple forms of, internet. So I think I'm gonna try. Obviously, I'm gonna be live on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday for sure. Sunday, I may just do the talks. I haven't decided yet exactly how we're gonna do this. But on Friday and likely Saturday, we'll work out something with the Mont Sano on how we're going to live stream some of that. It might be fun to just set up a camera and have people just doing the ham radio thing. So I may set up for that.
Isn't there no cell service up there?
I've done it.
There's cell service out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is, but I thought a couple of people are going to try to get their Elon Musk things going.
Those aren't very good for live streaming. They're just not. The bandwidth is it's not consistent enough. It drops out too much.
I think the problem is the park has cable, but it doesn't have real cable and it doesn't have broadband available for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. So I'm gonna close out the Discord. Thanks everybody on the Discord for hanging out. You guys keep hanging out. I don't have any. Oh, I watched the menu. Did anybody watch the menu? That was great.
Yes.
That was fantastic. I loved it.
Absolutely fantastic.
Loved every minute of it. It was like a cross between like Clue the movie and a bunch of other weird whodunit suspense movies, but it was food related.
It was twisted and cerebral.
It was great.
What's it on?
Max or Hobo Max, HBO Max,
or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
You're gonna con me into subscribing to something else. I just can't.
Well,
Hulu.
So Max, the second part of Dune 1 is coming out here in a couple of months, and I'm all over that. I'm rewatching the first Dune again because of how much I liked it. I'll say I liked it. So yeah.
Well, I didn't see it, and I haven't seen it yet. And the reason I haven't seen it yet is because I want to see both of them back to back.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you like horror, Josh, check out Nefarious. It will freak you out.
I might have seen it already. Have you seen Haunt? If you like horror movies, Haunt.
I have not.
It's about a haunted house, like a maze. Like a haunted house maze that people build. Look up Haunt. It's really good.
I'll check it
out.
out.
Really good.
And where is that one located?
So for a while I had paid for a subscription to that horror.
Oh yeah, I know.
Service? Like Chiller or whatever.
Was it Chiller? I don't remember, but I really do like horror movies. I'm somewhat of an aficionado in that space. I also enjoy horror movies myself. But I ended up getting rid of it because it got kind of stale. They weren't coming out with new stuff.
Did you ever see that one that was? It's on, I think,
Shudder.
Roku.
Shudder. That was it. Shudder.
Oh, you ever seen that one that's called I think it's called Grindhouse.
Yeah.
And it's actually a rent. You rent. You pick a movie and go okay, and you pay a few dollars and you can see the movie for a week or two. So it's not a pay service, but it's just like a channel
rental.
Isn't that
cool? Yeah.
Grindhouse is all the low budget B-roll.
Oh, I love those. I
B-horrors.
love those.
That's Tarantino, though, right?
No. So
No.
Grindhouse and Pulp, that all existed in the 60s and 70s.
Rob Zombie?
Now hold on. So the concept of Grindhouse was like drive-in movies that you'd go see in the 60s and 70s, and it would just be schlocky.
Hills
Not
Have
even
Eyes.
no. This predates that. This predates that.
Yep.
Grindhouse and pulp, like horror slashers, all that stuff, that existed again in the late 60s and 70s when kids were going to drive-ins and they needed like double features of just total garbage so that kids could make out to and that kind of thing. That was Grindhouse.
Yeah, like Buckets of Blood and Spider Baby.
Like the night of the rabbits that get real big. You know, that had bones from Star Trek in it. The night of the
Right.
Anyway,
the night of the Triffids.
Well, that's the origins of the term, but
right.
I
But
mean,
that's what the term
Zombie and
Grindhouse.
Tarantino got together and did a movie called Grindhouse.
Which
actually is a double feature, sort of. In one movie.
Death Proof, and the other one,
and Rocky Horror Picture Show was a talk back to some of those too.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, it was.
Came later. Though. That came later.
Yeah, it did. Well, see, I grew up actually with drive-ins and that kind of stuff. Now, I was too young to go to them, but I knew about them, and I always wanted to see those things. And when I first got cable, that's what I was hoping they would have on, but they didn't. They never ran those things.
The night of the Lepus, I think it is, or the
lupus or lepus.
No,
yeah,
lupus is wolf. I think it's lepus.
It's something like that.
Stupid, large ass rabbits and Bones. Star Trek is trying to stop them. So
I know exactly the movie you're talking about.
This all falls deeply into my strongest recommendation of a YouTube channel you must subscribe to, Red Letter Media. One of the best YouTube channels on the entire platform. Red Letter Media.
Do they actually go over those old B movies?
Yeah, Night of the Lepus is on there for sure.
Oh, okay. Because I always wanted to see those things, and that channel that's on Roku has some,
Lepus.
And so I've been able to see some of them. Yeah, they're crap, but it satisfies an itch.
That's the point.
It satisfies an itch. Damn it.
That's like what's his name? Oh, hi, Mark. The Room, right? Oh. And anything from who's our Lord and Savior, the new director supreme of bad schlock B movie, Twisted Pair. He made the movie Twisted Pair. Neil Breen, Neil freaking Breen. If you want to watch the worst movie, by the way, this is on. If you have YouTube Prime, Premium, whatever, if you're paying for this, you can watch this right now. Neil Breen. Twisted Pair, I think, is the one. You know what? I don't want to. I will not end the live stream just so I can show you this because we need to get to the bottom of this. I think it's Twisted Pair. So bad. Let's see. Twisted. Yes. Twisted Pair. Neil Breen, 2018. If you have, wait. If you have
YouTube TV or YouTube, you're talking about like YouTube Premium.
If you're paying for Premium, so you can skip the ads and you can get this, you definitely want to watch this. It is so bad, so bad. Where? Oh yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad in the point that it literally rolls back around itself and becomes good again. Oh, you know what? Wait, where is it? Hold on. Can I find? Is this? All right. Let's see.
Ever.
No. This is not.
Yeah, I can play it.
Kale, I'm so content now.
No, this is not what I want. Whereas I want the one where he pushes her off the bed.
Hey, where the heck are all these meteors? I ain't seeing nothing.
I ain't seen no meteors.
How much cloud cover do you have?
Was it the Leonids or which one?
Perseids?
Leonids?
Perseids. Yeah, it's like crystal clear tonight in northern Illinois.
All right,
I had a huge storm earlier today, so it better be clear now.
Just keep watching.
60
Look to the northeast.
Okay. All right, here we go.
That's our damn money.
Get away from me.
Here it comes. Here it
This
comes.
is for both of us.
Gosh.
She's gonna hit him. Watch. And it's just the most.
Take it.
Watch. Here it comes.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh. I don't even want you anymore. All I want is the drugs and the money.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my god.
Come back here.
It's so bad.
Straighten up.
Wait.
We're both fucked up.
Oh,
I don't care. I don't want you anymore.
there it is. Now she falls off the bed slowly. That's it. That was it. It's just so awkward. Okay, cut. Just cut. All right, everybody go watch Twisted Pair. That's the homework. Sorry. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do for watching. So there you go.
Yeah.
Neil Breen is the new best.
That's Academy Award winning stuff
That
right
gives
there.
Campy a good name.
Yeah, that's what you want. All right, everybody on the Discord, take it easy. I will. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to wrap up the show on the other side. Thanks. See ya.
We'll see you Thursday,
So,
man.
Yeah. Pack your bags. Pack your bags. I'll see you here
I'm
in a
out there
couple of
Wednesday,
days.
so
See you.
Yeah, I'm
See
out
everybody
there.
Wednesday.
I'm out there Monday. So
Excellent.
See
We'll
you
have fun
Thursday.
until I see you on Thursday or Friday.
Yep.
Roger that.
Bye, everybody. All right, go watch Twisted Pair. I'm not kidding. You have to go watch it. It's required homework. So go watch Twisted Pair and then come up and tell me at Huntsville how that is the best movie there is. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. We do this every weekend. At least we try to. Saturdays generally is my live stream day. I will be live again next Saturday, but it's going to be the Huntsville Hamfest. So 2 Saturdays from now, we'll be back for the after chat, and that's where we answer your questions live. But if you happen to be in Huntsville, Alabama this weekend, and you want to ask your question directly, just come on up and say hi. And I may even give you a sticker if you ask me. All right. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later, okay? 73. Enjoy the memes, and I'll play you out. And yes, this song was not... Where's my... Oh, I lost USB. I can't even do my song. Oh, no song. But my song was recorded off of 14.313, which is another wackadoo frequency where some weirdos hang out. Anyway, not the point. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. 73. Hey, Gary says, Josh, thanks. Let's see if I can get it. Will it pop up there? Yeah. Thanks for your content. Watch your videos for the last few weeks. Passed my tech license. First try, 33 out of 35 questions. Thanks for what you do. Hey, Gary, congratulations. I'm glad you joined us on the ham ranks. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your